There was a study done where men and women were hooked up to brain scanners as they watched people play a game. They got to see whether the people playing the game were playing fairly or whether they were cheating at the game. And the people playing were connected to electric shock machines. So electric shocks would go into these people as they were playing, and they would measure the brains of the men and women watching. So every time a player that was playing fairly got an electric shock, both men and women's empathy centers lit up. Whenever an electric shock would go into a person that was cheating, women's empathy centers lit up just the same as with the fair playing person, but men's empathy centers did not light up at all. Actually, their pleasure center lit up. Super key psychological distinction between men and women.
So basically what I heard is you got what you deserved. You got what was coming to you. You know, I think, well, yeah, I guess you got to be careful with it on both sides, right? Because, you know, there are situations where you might cheat and, you know, you might need to find out a little bit more to the story. But I think a lot of times modern women are too empathetic and they side with people. They just let them go. They just let them go do what they're doing. You're like, hold on, wait a minute. We got to figure out what's going on first. If you're going to cheat, hey, hold on, time out. Don't just let them go scot-free. We got to figure out if they actually need to be disciplined or not. If there's something that needs to be enforced. You can't just let them go all the time. I mean, sometimes you just, hey, I saw that. Chill out. But then there's other times where they know that you saw it or they don't care that you saw it. They're going to do it anyway. Does a boundary need to be enforced?
So I used to think a woman's past didn't matter until this one time that I got invited over to my cousin's house. We were all sitting around their bonfire after dinner. They had invited some friends and another cousin of ours. And in the midst of the conversations, the attention got put on me. And they asked me if I've been seeing anybody lately because, you know, recently I became single again. And I was like, yeah, like I've been seeing this one girl. She came over, you know, we've been spending the night and all this stuff. And my cousin was like, oh yeah, Vinny got his little hoes. But what he needs is a good girl that's not going to give it up on the first night. So that's when my other cousin chimes in, the one that was recently married. And she's like, oh yeah, I made Steven wait at least 2 months before he was able to get any. And my boy was sitting there like all proud and shit. Like that shit sucked, but it was worth it. That's when I was like, you see, like I want that too. But then I'm scared that like if a girl makes me wait that long and then I find out that she had a one night stand in her past. And then that's when they look at me and they're like, but why does that even matter? And that's when I was like, well, if the whole point of making a man wait is for self-respect and for preservation, then that goes out the window if you gave it to somebody else on the first night. So there's really no point. Because they're just going to feel like you put on a good girl mask just because you seen a future with me, but not with the person you let hit on the first night, you know? And the whole time that I was giving my explanation, all I'm seeing is like my little cousin, the 16-year-old, she's in the back like, and as soon as I finish talking, she looks over at her sister and she's like, My cousin's like, what? And she's like, what about the guy in Mexico? When I tell you guys, her face went pale. Like, she didn't even know what to say. And then her husband's like, what guy in Mexico? So at that moment, I'm pretty sure we all realized that he didn't know about the guy in Mexico. And at that point, he had got up, walked into the house, and my cousin followed after him. And honestly, we didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. But a month later, they actually announced that they were separating. But I think we all learned a valuable lesson that day. For me, it was just because she make you wait does not make her worth my time.
So he is the father?
That's what the DNA test results show, yes, ma'am.
When this grimy side chick almost ran game to bag child support money, the judge peeped the fraud and blew her whole scam sky high.
Mr. Everett, I've just placed on the screen a copy of the alleged DNA test results in regards to the child journey.
So he is the father?
That's what the DNA test results show, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Miss Randall, did you have anything else that you wanted to offer?
How much monthly is he supposed to be paying for Journey?
According to my calculations, it's $1,435.
It's like it's more, so it's like I'm like confused right now. And you guys went over the wages and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm still like,
Miss Randall, I don't guess when it comes to the number. I just listen to the testimony and then I base child support on what the evidence is. Miss Randall, you said that you wanted to move to Houston. Why do you think you should be allowed to go to Houston?
I had wanted to start over.
Problem is that Mr. Everett is entitled to time with Journey. And if I let you move to Houston, then that's going to have a negative impact on Mr. Everett's ability to spend time with Journey, because based on his work schedule, he might find it difficult trying to go back and forth to see the child if he has to go all the way to Houston and pick up the child. If you had some great reason for moving to Houston, if somebody had offered you some wonderful job over there, or you had gotten some scholarship at a college somewhere and you needed to move there to go to school, that might be a different story. But just because you need a change of scenery, that's not sufficient for me to allow you to move to Harris County.
Do I have to stay here, or like, do I have to stay here?
Yes, ma'am, you do. Does that mean
Really?
that the child will live in Jefferson County or a county that touches Jefferson County unless Mr. Averett agrees to allow you to move or the district judge agrees to allow you to move?
Since I can't move, can I pick a certain amount of back pay that I would like to do?
No, ma'am. Go ahead, Mr. Averett.
Deja has already moved to Houston.
I need to get this addressed right now. Is that true, Miss Randall? Have you already moved to Houston?
I have, and then I have not moved there.
It's a pretty simple question, and it only requires a yes or no answer. Do you or do you not live in Houston?
No, I don't. I don't stay there.
What is your current address?
Houston, Texas, Harris County. Houston, Harris.
Thank you, Miss Randall. Case is dismissed. There will be no child support. There will be no medical support. There will be no visitation. There will be no finding that Mr. Averett is the father.
Men are greedy. When men get money, I can finally take care of our family. Now, when a woman gets her money and gets things, what does she say? I don't need a man.
I don't need a man.
So who's really the greedy one?
Men don't need a lot. They just need the right things consistently. And when a man feels fulfilled by his woman, he becomes the most loyal, grounded, and devoted partner you will ever have. Let me break this down. The 5 things that matter the most. Number 1 is respect. This is number 1 for a reason. Men don't love the way women love. Men love through respect. Speak to him in a way that does not strip him of his freaking dignity. Do not belittle him, nag him, or question his competency when he's trying. A man who feels respected gives everything back tenfold. Number 2, peace. Men go to war in the world every single day. They deal with certain pressures, expectations, and responsibilities that women never see. When he comes home, he's not looking for more chaos. He's looking for calm energy and a woman who isn't constantly in fight mode. Be his peace, and he will protect that peace with his life. Number 3, appreciation. Men don't hear thank you enough. They notice every little thing they do because they do it for you. His effort doubles when you actually acknowledge it. Not with some exaggerated praise, just genuine gratitude. A simple, I love how you handled that, or I really appreciate you, goes to his soul. Number 4, affection and intimacy. Men need physical closeness to feel emotionally connected to you. So touch him, kiss him, make love to him, initiate it sometimes. Make him feel wanted, not tolerated. When a woman gives her man affection freely and confidently, his loyalty is locked in. Number 5, admiration. Let him know that you see him. You notice who he is. You believe in him. Men rise to the level of a woman who believes in their potential. When he feels admired by you, he expands. His purpose grows. His desire to provide, protect, and love you grows with it. So keep your man satisfied, okay? It has nothing to do with perfection. Nobody's perfect. It is not about being a maid, a mother, or a doormat. It's about being a partner who understands how men feel love, respect, peace, appreciation, affection, and admiration. That's it.
Why would a man who makes a woman his first priority drive the woman insane?
Because you guys, you got so much to give. You have such capacities for productivity, for getting things done, for creativity. Like, y'all are amazing. And if that's all focused on me, I don't need enough to occupy you. I need enough that you could really help me, probably every day, several times a day, in different ways. But to be the focus of all that attention, all that mind power, all that oomph, it would be emasculating to you, and it would feel needy and controlling and icky to me. You gotta have a purpose. You gotta have something you're up to. That's hot, what you're up to.
Have I changed your view at all, or are you still like, nah, f that, I won't be submissive?
I don't think until he is my husband that I am gonna have to commit to being submissive.
And would that be the same for you?
Probably.
Would that be the same for you?
Yes.
Okay, you wouldn't be submissive to a boyfriend?
The submissiveness for a boyfriend would have to be 50-50. Like, it wouldn't totally disregard, like, what he wants or, like, how he feels about certain things. But it also wouldn't be like, I'm, like, submitting to him fully because he's not my husband yet.
Yeah, should men pay for first dates?
It depends. If the man asks you, yes, he should pay. But if
Have you ever asked a guy out on the first date?
Yes.
Did you pay for the first date when you asked for the guy out?
I did not, only because he offered, but I would have paid.
Wait, so the one time you asked a guy out, he still paid for the date?
Yes.
Wow, interesting how that works. So given the fact that in practice, men are the ones who do ask women out, should men pay for dates?
Yes.
Using your own logic, what's stopping men from saying, well, she's not my wife yet. I'm not going to protect her. I'm not going to provide for her until she's my wife.
There's nothing stopping them from doing that.
Would you like that kind of dynamic in your relationship?
If she texts once a day, you text once a day. If she...
Don't do that. Don't do that. The only person's time you're going to end up wasting is your own. Matching people's energy is the reason why everybody is clinically single. Matching everybody's energy is the reason why everybody's miserable. Do not do that. Find somebody that is enthusiastic about talking to you. Find somebody that wants to hold space for you and wants to be there for you. Trying to match the energy of a person who has already demonstrated that they do not care to talk to you is a waste of time. I had a gay waiter one time say, and it was so funny. He said, I may jog after a man, but I will never run after a man. And I think you guys need to take that into account.
Because we're training men every day to be violent. We train men to play football. What we do is we train them to cut off their feelings. When we tell men, only men must register for the draft at the age of 18, not women. That's part of a whole psychological preparation to allow men to think of themselves as disposable. And so every day we are preparing men to do things like firefighters. All the most dangerous jobs are held by about 90 to 95% men. So we're preparing men to say, you men have to risk your life and in order to get love and in order to get respect. And so we're telling men, cut off your feelings in order to be willing to risk your life. That's the history of masculinity, is prepare yourself to cut off your feelings in order to be willing to risk your life to serve other people. That's the meaning of the word hero. A hero comes from the word siro, which meant servant or slave. A hero was a slave to the society. He wasn't somebody with power. He was a person expected to give his power over to serve the community.
The dangerous jobs, the dirty jobs, the jobs that don't want to be done in society, you can look at the statistics. This is no hiding it. You can look at the statistics and see that a plethora, overwhelmingly, over 90% of men do dirty jobs. They're doing the hard jobs, the laborious jobs. Oh, that's good enough for you. You know, it's funny to me how modern women never get upset that they don't have to go into the same fields that men go into. They always get mad because they can't climb the corporate ladder. Why does a man get a chance to? Why does a man get a chance to do this and do that? Why don't you try to figure out how you can get involved with the dirty jobs, the hard jobs, the laborious job? Oh, I really used my brain today. And I'm not saying that, working in an office isn't tough. You're mentally tired, you're exhausted, but why don't you have a balance? How come you can't do both? You want to sit up here and tell people what to do, but then you never go. That's the thing. Y'all want to sit up here and tell men what to do, and you never be around doing the stuff. You never built anything. You never even been out in the field. And you want to get out there and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. You don't know what's going on out here. You never even said anything to anybody. Why would I listen to you? Why would I respect you? Men can do all those things for you. He can be out working, struggling, slaving, and you still don't respect him. Meanwhile, y'all read a piece of paper and then come out and say, oh, well, because I read this piece of paper, you should listen to me. And the man says, well, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years. I think I have a little skin in the game too. Oh, but you don't have this piece of paper. I respect your piece of paper, but I think that you also need to respect my experience. I have experience doing this. I have experience leading. Modern women don't care. They don't care nothing about that. Men are disposable after all. And I just send them to war. We need modern women out here saying we need to have every man start in prison. Some of these women really believe that. Oh, well, men used to go to war, right? And do you know the atrocities and the horrific nature of war? And you're saying that they used to go to war? Men coming back maimed, almost unrecognized, in some cases unrecognizable. Saw a man the other day walking, his leg was amputated, and he had one of those little, we used to didn't have that technology, but one of those little bounty things like on his leg. I always think about Oscar Pistorius or whatever his name is, but one of those things in his leg. Men didn't have that back in the day. They had a crutch. They had a cane. Their pant leg would be tied up. But men used to go to war and suffered horrific tragedies. This is our standard for men, going in there and getting their blims blown off. Hearing people scream and holler and yell out for their mom or their parents or their wife or whoever it is, just right before they pass away. Coming back traumatized. Can't even talk about it 40, 50 years later. That's the standard. Go over there, mess yourself up, mess your mind up, and then come back home and figure out how to deal with my BS. Figure out how to control my mood swings and take my mood swings while dealing with your own stuff, while dealing with your own PTSD. That sounds fantastic to me. I don't know why men aren't signing up by droves.
What she actually means when she says, my ex was a narcissist. I couldn't manipulate my ex. My ex was a loser. She wasn't able to get him to commit and she's bitter. My ex was controlling. She is a turbo and she wasn't attracted to him enough to submit to his boundaries. I get bored easy. I'm a turbo. I've been busy. You're not a priority. You're insecure or controlling. Your boundaries are limiting her ability to keep her options open and monkey branch. A real man would. She's trying to manipulate into behavior that will limit your options and increase hers. He's just a friend. He's either a backup plan or someone she might hook up with if she thinks she can get away with it. I'm fine. She wants you to guess what's wrong with her. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. She's not attracted to you anymore. I need space. She's bored with you and another guy is actively auditioning. You're an asshole. I want to you. We're not having tonight. She's actively thinking about you but wants to preserve her reputation. I don't normally do this. She's done this before, but she doesn't want to seem like a... I wish you would communicate more. She's feeling insecure and she wants you to tell her that you love her.
Is it actually true that men become a reflection of the way a woman treats them?
Yep, you treat us like, we gonna treat you like too.
So, if you don't like the way he's acting, maybe you should look at the way you're treating him.
Women will see that and call her a pick me, but you're just a skip me because no man wants you. To all the ladies who want a man, you have to learn how to respect him. If you give peace, your feminine energy, you're gonna get tenfold in return. Because a happy man is God's plan. And if you're doing right by him, he's gonna make sure he does right by you.
Ladies, I'm calling you out on this one because unfortunately, that's where you see most of it come from.
For the women who withhold their children from the fathers who want to be there,
there is a very special place in hell for you.
But majority of the time, and I said this before, is men typically don't give up on children. They do give up on co-parenting.
Unless there is abuse or neglect involved, there are no reasons why a child should be kept from an obviously loving, capable, and competent father.
When there's some mothers who make even seeing a child a headache and really, really drive that man away, he ends up giving up on the children. And children are just collateral damage from the mum being too difficult.
There are plenty of men who are begging, almost pleading with the court system, with them, to see their children. And you're withholding a child from their father because of your feelings.
A child deserves full access to both parents at any given time, regardless of your feelings about the other person.
I'll have single mums in my comments being like, my ex was a narcissist, he was so abusive. They're so zoomed into their perspective and their experience. They can't zoom out and think, yeah, my ex was terrible, but my child is still going to suffer.
Why would you keep them away from the person that's supposed to protect them, provide for them, and teach them about the world and struggle?
Still me as a masculine figure. They can't think like that. They're so holding on to their trigger.
Your child, their feelings, their needs, their wants should always come first, not your petty.
Ladies, time to piss off the ladies on the internet. We are talking about Pound Town. So if you are a prude, just keep scrolling because it's gonna piss you off. If you are one of the females in my comments saying, well, he doesn't do XYZ for me and I'm not gonna meet his needs if he's not meeting mine. When was the last time you even tried to meet his needs or heard the man out? Honestly speaking, like, this isn't a double standard, sweetheart. If you are in a committed relationship, if you are a wife and you haven't listened to your husband's needs and you only expect him to fulfill yours, he's in a one-sided relationship and that is not fair to him. So before you start yapping your mouth in my comment section, make sure that you actually speak to your man. And if he says, you know, I have needs and I want wants, and the first thing out of your mouth is, well, that's all you ever think about, do you think he wants to hear about that you want to yap about every single day in and day out when he gets home? Probably not, but he probably deals with it because you're his wife and he loves you. Do better.
My mother was not a good baby mama. I seen that as a child. My father would try to come see us. She would run him off. We would be wrong for giving our dad our number or our address. And if she find out you gave him our phone number or address, you get in trouble for it. I seen that as a child. But then I was angry at him because he didn't fight. He didn't fight harder. At some point he gave up. I did not understand. All I knew was you gave up. So I was angry at him. My daddy got out of prison. He done like 2 years in prison for like beating somebody's ass. And when he got out, he came seen us and I got into it with my sister. He got into the middle of it, so I punched on my daddy, right? Out of anger, because I was so mad at him. It was like, where the hell have you been? So my dad stood back and he just did this. He said, get it out. And I'm punching and just and his eyes turned red, you know. And it took me to get grown to realize my dad was crying, and for him to go like get it out, bro, that was like real. But anyway, later in life I got a baby mama, okay, one of them ones, and I start to realize all of the things that my dad had to go through. And I realized that he didn't necessarily quit. He just chose his peace over the drama because he could not control what my mother do in her governing us, because she's a custodial parent. And I started to realize a whole lot of things that he had to go through dealing with my mother when I started to deal with my baby mama. I was like, damn, I understand, right? But one thing I understand mostly is my dad has a name. That name is the name of a man, but that man used to be a boy. That boy went through some things, right? So he's not perfect, right? Yes, he's my dad, but he used to be a boy too. So he went through something in his life as well, just like I did. So him not being there, hey, who knows what the hell he went through in his life? Who knows, right? Who knows what his tolerance levels are, all of that. And I understand, so I had to let go of that anger, man, right? I hold him accountable, but I am not angry.
If a man and wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same statistical chance as children raised by just their father. Girls with no fathers in the home have lower self-esteem. No father families more likely to be victims of abuse, especially with single mothers. Children with high BMI more often come from fatherless homes. Here's something: fathers have the fittest children. That was really interesting to me. The more opportunities a child has to interact with biological father, the less likely they are to commit a crime or have contact with the juvenile justice system. Okay, another way to say that is men and women who are incarcerated, the population of the prisons mostly encompass fatherless homes. Now, here's something that no one else has mentioned, which I think is cool, and I don't really say this eloquently. If a man and wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same statistical chance as children raised by just their father.
How could you possibly equate
with love. If you're banging everybody in college, 50 guys plus, how are you equating sex with love? You're not in love with 50 plus guys, honey. This is disgusting. Ooh, this is why, by the way, some of these women transition with ease into the OnlyFans, because they're basically doing it already. Oh my God. And imagine, how do you think, ladies, you're not ladies, I'm not even going to say that. Women, how do you think they're talking about you, these guys? You think they're talking about you with love? They're like, now guys, listen, you shouldn't be messing with them at all. You really shouldn't. Because sticking the you-know-what into women who have no self-respect is not good for you either. I'm just saying, it's not, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
The word wife didn't actually appear until 1200 AD. And originally wife was used for woman. It was interchangeable, like in Old English, like midwife, housewife, fishwife, wife, and it was spelled W-I-F, like with. It just meant woman. And then it evolved into two separate ideas, two separate words because of legal purposes. This notion of like, if you're a woman, how do you know whose you are? Because if you know whose you are, then you know whose your children are. And that way your son inherits whatever your husband has, right? If you're a wife. And so you're a family at that point. But there's really not a difference originally between wife and woman. I think there's this idea that wife is kind of inherent to woman. And so if we really think about defining woman and what her ultimate goals are, what her ultimate desires are. And so I think it's always fun to do this in contrast with men.
Well, it's an attempt, when you say wife, and I think the word wife, or at least the function of wife, was actually a lot earlier than that, right? So when you're talking about codifying, is essentially what you're doing. You're codifying, okay, this is who I belong to, this is how I survive. I'm not strong enough to survive, not on my own, not in general. So I need a protector. I need a manager. I need somebody who can organize, somebody who can essentially kind of look out, kind of shield me, right? I'm not incompetent. I just don't have the strength that this man has. Like, say for instance, it'd be like creating a player or it'd be like picking a boxer on one of these games where one boxer has strength, but he doesn't have speed. And then you have a boxer that has speed, but he doesn't have strength. So, when you pick the boxer with speed, it's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts. Whereas if you have a boxer with power, all it really takes is 1 or 2 good hits and you're down for the count. If you know how to use either or, then you're good. A lot of people like a balance of both. They like what they call power and speed, or like finesse. In football, you have the 1-2 punch, a back that's speedy and can kind of break off to the side if you give it a toss, give him a toss, or a back can, as well as a back that can really hit the hole and fight for those tough yards. So when the defense tries to key in on, okay, spread him out and go for the tackle, then you can say, okay, let's trot in this guy who can go straight up the middle, or, maybe veer off to the left or to the right, and he can still get his yards, right? Or you might have a back that can do both of those, which is what a lot of people want. But for this specific scenario, you have a woman that can do one thing and then a man that can do another. And so when these modern women get out here talking about, well, the man can't do this, I don't need no man to do X, Y, and Z, you're lying. You can't exist without a man because you don't have certain qualities. A man has those qualities just naturally. Just being a man, he already has those qualities. And so he's going to come in, even if he's not the husband, which is what y'all expect, he's going to come in and be the manager. And management doesn't mean owning somebody or ruling over somebody necessarily in this sense. It just means somebody who's able to come in and, kind of look at the situation and manipulate it and move it and control it to, as much as you can, a favorable outcome. That's what modern women really want their man to do, is to come in and control the situation in attempt to get a favorable outcome for them. Give me the favorable outcome. So that's why I want you to come in and pay for all of the dates. I want you to come in and have 100K, 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, 6 inches, I need you to be favorable to me. That's what I'm looking for. And I want a man to manage all of these things. Hey, I'm hungry. Send me something to eat. Hey, I want a little love and affection. Send me some flowers. Hey, I'm feeling down. Go buy me all of the treats that I want to, and then give it to me. Right? He's managing my life. And really, he's not managing my life. He's just managing my happiness. I think that I have enough money and enough education to outsource my happiness to somebody that's more secure than I am. The man, so they're trying to get the ultimate man. They're essentially trying to create a player, right? So if they say, okay, I want a man that's this, and this, I can outsource my entire life and now relax and be in my princess era, be in my soft girl era, because I don't have to think anything. I don't have to do anything. I've outsourced him. Your husband is supposed to do that if you are a wife. If you do what a wife does, and she is to nurture, to cultivate. He's cultivating too, but your job is to nurture, to help grow, right? To kind of manage what he's given you, while he manages all of the other things, while he looks after all of the other things. You enable him to be stronger. You enabled him to be faster, more efficient whenever you're doing what you're doing. But a lot of modern women don't want to do that, which is why the man says, oh, I don't need you. Well, I'm beautiful. I put my makeup on. I got this dress. I got ready for the date. I did this, and this. And you should be willing to pay for it. Yeah, you did all of that, but you're not going to be good for me. You're not going to do anything. You're going to slow me down. I don't need some toy that I have to continue to pay for. You essentially become a collectible as a woman, right? I collect you. You're beautiful. It's nice to... He's essentially going to wear you like a nice piece of jewelry, because that's really all you are. A piece of jewelry at that point in time. You look nice. You look good. Oh, she's beautiful. The same thing that they would say for a watch. Now, is there anything that she does? Instead of saying, yeah, man, this is a nice watch, and what it does is it tells time, but it also tracks my heart rate. It also tracks my sleep cycle. It also tracks my workout. It's a good looking thing, but it has multiple functions. It actually helps me to become more efficient during the day or during my lifetime. And it helps me to be a better man. But these modern women, they'll just sit there and they don't do anything. And people are saying, well, what does she do? Well, what does she contribute? And that's what a man is asking. What do you bring to the table? Surprise, surprise. We've looped all the way back around to that question. As a wife, what do you bring to the table? What is it that you're doing? Now that I'm managing your life, now that I'm creating a life and protecting yours, what is it that I get in return? I don't want an expensive piece of jewelry. I want that jewelry to actually be functional and help me be more efficient. Modern women don't like hearing that.
If you don't have money, you don't have a marriage. Marriage is a business. I know people go nuts when I say that, but it's a business. And the first child you're going to have is money. It's going to be the first child, and it's going to sit at the table with you every day. It's there, it's sitting there. If you don't have money, you don't have a marriage. I mean, the reason people get married is to form a form of financial stability so that they can afford a family. We didn't have any money when we started. We had nothing. And so that's why a great marriage can work, because you build it together. You really care about it. You care about your family. You also care about what you've created in wealth. And I consider my money her money, like, because she was the family that let me go and do this stuff. Now, I don't have the same relationship with our kids that she does because she raised them. But that's the thing you give up, and you have to give something up. That's it. You can be a great father, a great provider, but you're never going to have the closest that she had reading them stories when they were young. I wasn't there. But, the outcome has been good. I think everybody looks at that and says, all right, that's great. But my mother never believed in entitlement, and so I don't believe in it either. I'm not gifting my kids a ton of money. They got to work. They got to do their thing.
The parallel of when men peak and when women peak just is. And there's a resentment that's coming with this too, that women are feeling like, well, why can't I peak in my later, just like a guy? Because you don't, right? Because it's different, because you have things like your fertility that's precious, right? And valuable that gets, it diminishes with age, because you have things like beauty and youth and all of these things that honestly pair with fertility. You have all of these precious metals, I call them, right? Guys are doing different things, right? They're building businesses, they're building finances, and that takes time to grow, right? They're building equity, so that it takes time. So it's just a different path. And if men and women were on their path that was appropriate for them, like women were on a feminine path and men were on a masculine path, it would all align beautifully, but it doesn't. It doesn't, because women are trying to be men, right? It's so effed up. It's so effed up.
Quick little story about masculine love and how important it is. I was at the gym and there's this woman who was working out in the class I was in, and her son was sitting there waiting for her, and he was about 6, maybe 7 years old, and he was on his iPad, and it ran out of battery, so he needed a charger. He went up to the coach and the trainer and he tapped him on his back, and he basically was like, "Coach, can I please have a charger? Can I use your charger?" And the coach said, "Hey, yeah, you can have my charger, but it'll cost you 15 push-ups." And it was just such a moment where this kid like lit up and he was like, "Okay." And then he started doing his push-ups and we were all counting his push-ups, and then he finished and he was so like proud of himself. And then the coach was like, "Yeah, I'm so proud of you." And it was just this very beautiful masculine love that was directive, and it was moving him towards accomplishing a goal. And I think it's something that young boys crave so deeply. They need it. And
my honest advice and opinion to any guy out there who's trying to meet girls but is super nervous to talk to girls, here's what you need to remember, my guy. If you're talking to a girl and you're feeling nervous, that means you're subconsciously expecting something of yourself and of her. Maybe you're expecting her to like you, you're expecting her to want to go out with you. That is not always going to happen. In fact, more than not, it's not going to happen. And this goes for everyone, not just you, not just your friend, not just guys in general. This goes for girls too. So what you should do instead is when you meet a girl, don't put any expectation there. Focus much more on getting to know her as a person, because that will do two things. Number one, that will make you feel less nervous and you're going to feel more confident in yourself, which in turn will make her feel more confident too and make her feel more attracted and drawn to you. And number two, you'll learn more about girls in general because you will feel fine going up and approaching them. Go into conversations with girls with no expectations other than to get to know them, and you will get way more dates. I promise.
I just came to the realization that like if you're 40 years old, you're never gonna find love. Like, oh my god, sorry, I woke up like really emotional because I was married for, oh my god, I need to stop. I was married for over 20 years, and like I was so used to being a wife. Like I love being married, you know, like I love being a wife. I love having like that one person I love coming home to and like venting all my to. And
how many times do we see this? It seems like the prettier the woman in a seemingly good marriage, the worse she will be to her husband when she hits 40. It's like she starts thinking her value remains constant, and she deserves more than what she has in her spouse. She'll then demand more from him. She'll mistreat the husband or give little to no effort in the marriage. Or even worse, she'll seek attention outside the marriage. She'll start using words like, "I'm unhappy," "I need to find myself," or "I have no identity in this marriage." When the husband reacts due to the chaos, her constant complaints or little to no intimacy from her, he will seek his peace elsewhere. She will then use this to end the marriage due to his infidelity and think the best is yet to come. Unfortunately, like most, she will find life is not the same when she was last single. She will quickly realize that her highest and best value to men is way behind her. This is because single men of high value prefer a younger version of her. She will mostly attract men who see her value behind closed doors as a rented tool. Most end up like this young lady, being the side chick and sharing someone else's unhappy husband. Now she is finally the piece for a man. Sadly, it is for a man who is married to the kind of wife she used to be.
It's like a disease that plagues their character, taking the women of America.
I make $840 a week. If you guys are taking $1,100 from me, I'm not going to be able to support my kids if I can't support myself. Who's the daycare for?
For the children.
They go to school and she has a husband. There's two parents in the household. They're 11 and 7. It just makes zero sense to me how somebody can sit at home and do nothing, do absolutely nothing, dress my kids like slobs. It's horrible, man.
You want to keep arguing about this? Because it's going to go up, I can guarantee you that.
In all honesty, I'm better off quitting my job and saying I have no job and working under the table like all these other deadbeat dads do.
Yet another example of what is wrong with the family court system. These men are treated like walking ATMs as opposed to being treated like fathers. She has a new husband, but yet still refuses to work so she can receive the lifestyle support from a previous husband. Users like this will continue to leverage the judge, the court system, as well as the state to exact revenge upon you, while also continuing to live a lifestyle of sponsorship. Gentlemen, protect your seeds.
So a guy here in the comments says something I think that's pretty good. He says, that is valid. It's a valid point if that's true. And the judge is acting like a jerk. Just arguing something can allow you to increase the number? Think about how crazy that is. If she isn't working and they go to school, why in the world do they need money for childcare? What is she doing? How is that not a valid enough detail to be held into consideration when making these decisions? He says it best at the end there as well, like, are we even acknowledging what you are incentivizing? And that's a good point. She's not doing nothing. They're sitting at the house. I mean, she's sitting at the house. What are we paying for childcare for? What are we doing? What kind of nonsense do we got going on here? And this is why men get upset. What's going to happen is I didn't get what the judge was doing there either. Right? Oh, you keep on talking, I'm going to raise the child support. I don't have any money. I don't have the money. I can't even take care of myself. This is how much I make a week. I'm sending 80% of my check to the children. How am I going to take care of myself? I'm not even going to be here to work if I can't take care, if I don't have anywhere to live. It doesn't make any sense. And then what the judge is going to do is probably try to, oh, well, you don't want to pay it, I'm going to put you in jail. Then where's the child support going to come from, stupid? You talking about taking them from a little bit of child support to no child support. It looks like the man is paying. You got to do better.
That really shows the integrity and like who is meant to be in charge. Because when a woman is put in a man's position, she only thinks of herself. And when a man is put in that position, he thinks of everyone else. Isn't this like the ironic twist of things? Because this literally says that men, they try to get money so they can be a provider and a protector and take care of a woman and, you know, spend the rest of their lives with her, have a family, settle down. And a woman gets money so she can actively avoid that. A woman gets money for herself. A woman gets money so she can do what she feels like. Not take care of anybody else, not provide for anybody else, not do 50-50, which I don't believe in the first place. But if you're going to act like a man and try to take a leadership role, then you should act like a man and be a provider if you are going to have the money. You're going to be the breadwinner, maybe you should be the one paying for everything. You know, but you can't handle being a man. You would rather just live life and have fun and live for fleshy desires. And doesn't that just talk about how of the world women are? I mean, women are the ones that ate the apple. Women are so easily deceived by evil, demonic forces. Like, at this point, it's just readily accepted because there is no guidance. There is no man to teach her God. There is no man in her life that's going to teach her how to be. Just other men that are now filled with flesh as well and will do anything just to get a sniff of...
Just because you're dating somebody for 4 years doesn't mean it's automatically going to work out.
This one is from Erica. I've been in a 4-year-long relationship that has been happy for the most part. He's supportive and motivating. We share common goals and have talked about our future plans. That's a green flag. 2 of the negatives are that he gets very quiet around my family and friends, even though he has been around my group several times. He's also isn't very affectionate, which is something I crave. I brought it up in recent conversations, and I can see that he's been making an effort. However, a few months ago, I met somebody new. Oh my god! Go. It started as a nice friendship that's blooming into something more. It feels organic and light. We met at a neighborhood park where...
Organically.
When I would take my dog and he would take his 3-year-old son. Conversations are easy and I'm starting to develop feelings. We've hung out a few times and I recently... You're gonna piss me off here. Recently met his family at his son's 3rd birthday party. He gives me time and attention, shares similar interests, and through our conversations, I see that we have similar life goals as well. I don't know what to do. Yeah, you do. Do I keep working on my 4-year relationship or take a leap of faith with this new man from the park? Don't put God into this. Don't bring God into this equation.
No.
My man's is giving effort. Give him effort back.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
No. Okay, hear me out, okay? We don't know more details of the story. Remember, they're dating. They're not engaged. They're not married.
For 4 years.
For 4
It
years?
doesn't matter. That's the whole thing of dating. Just because you're dating somebody for 4 years doesn't mean it's automatically going to work out. Heaven forbid you're in a 4-year relationship.
You're going to get this shit
and
canceled,
you don't
bro.
like them, Patterson. I'm saying is that you have to cut the girl some slack because they are dating. That is the whole thing. And maybe there's more things to it. There's more layers that she's not mentioning it. Like maybe she's not physically attracted to him anymore. Maybe there's something that it's just not giving anymore. She's emotionally and mentally checking out.
Her boyfriend should not prevent her from finding her husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
So today I had to do a last-minute trip to New York City. It's about 3 hours from my house. I made some mistakes on the job and I had to go fix it. I spent more money than I expected and it threw the schedule off a little bit, for the family. And the coolest thing and the thing that makes it very, very productive in our life and the thing that makes our life able to move and progress is that my wife doesn't give me a hard time because of it. She understands that when something comes up with work and I need to deal with it, she does what she needs to do. And I don't take it for granted. I'm not an absent husband. I participate in things that need to be shared, weight and duties that need to be shared as a household. But she understands that I make mistakes too. And she understands when it comes to work, I do what I need to do. And it's nice to know that she's the last thing I have to worry about in regards to her being upset or giving me a hard time or calling me and, oh, when are you going to be back? And blah, 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 blah. You had to go again. Da, 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 da. Man, she doesn't do that. I'm very grateful for that. And I think that's something a lot of women can learn from, especially if you get a guy that is self-employed or a guy that's driven to do greater things than the regular. If he's working, if he's doing what he needs to do as a man, for women to support that and make sure that he can not have the stress of her and he can just go and work is a blessing. And it will progress the whole family. It'll make everybody better and it'll make your situation better. So shout out to all the women that take care of the home when the guy needs to go do something.
Look at it. I'm not paying $10,000 for a purse.
I would do anything to get this back.
Anything? Like, anything?
Anything.
You can get the bag. If you just get a job.
So you're going to deprive your child. You're going to deprive your child of access to his father, as well as strip the black man of his rights as a father to be in his child's life. For what? What's she doing all this for? Because she hurt? Because she feel like she been misused and abused? Or it's a bunch of children, homie, that's getting raised in those same conditions. It causes depression. Suicide. It's a whole lot of kids, homie, so they got a mama like that. That's that whole mama I be talking about. I guess we all do it when we young. You work against one another. As baby mama and baby daddy, you work against one another. for the best interest of each other's feelings separately, while you destroy your child's emotions. That's what we do, homie.
Modern women don't care about anybody else's feelings but their own. You know, they don't care, man. I don't care about. They think that they're such a good parent that they can make up the difference. They think that they can put their child through trauma and just say, well, it was for your own good. When the child says, no, it wasn't for my own good. That was weird what you did. Well, you don't understand. Someday when you grow up, you'll understand. I'm grown now and I don't understand. I'm looking at what happened between you and my dad, and I agree that he did some shady stuff. But what you did was weird and you shouldn't have done that. But of course, modern women will never take accountability.